Good evening, and welcome to the December 22nd, 2015 Town Board meeting for the Town of Ossining. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Harder?
Present.
Councilman Wilshire?
Present.
Councilman Blaha?
Present.
And Supervisor Donnelly.
Present.
We have a presentation this evening on the Board of Ethics.
Manny.
Good evening.
Good evening. Mr. Reisman is our Deputy Town Attorney, and I want to thank you for leading the charge on this revision of our ethics code. This board was very proactive, made it a 5-member board, and with the town attorney chosen to be a liaison. So, sir, I see your ethics board left you to talk to us about the latest revisions.
Yes. So, I honestly cannot, because the committee, since we were last here roughly 3 or 4 weeks ago, has been moving these procedures in and out and back and forth. I honestly can't remember exactly where we left off, but I can tell you where we are now.
Okay.
We have, in Section 1, I think it looks better than it did when we first brought it to you. Section 1 of the procedures, we have inserted a requirement, which the Board of Ethics itself chose to do, that the board meet at least twice a year, regardless of whether or not there are any issues that need to be addressed, such as advisory opinions or ethics complaints. So regardless of whether there are any of those pending, they will meet at least twice a year. It lays out the location, which can be anywhere in the town of Ossining, although the procedures do require that meetings regarding advisory opinions or ethics complaints will be held in town hall. The second section, which is called the general protocol, basically lays out, again by way of the board's own internal procedures, how they will undertake investigations, how work will be assigned when it comes into the board. For example, if the board receives an ethics complaint, there is a procedure by which the complaint will be assigned to a particular board member to lead the investigation and the inquiry and the initial analysis. It also has there's also a provision inside of Section 2, which talks about how the chairperson of the Board of Ethics will be selected. And again, in the spirit of depoliticizing the work of the Board of Ethics and making it just very, in a sense, predictable and objective, the decision was that chair people will serve on a rotating 1-year basis, basically in the order in which they were appointed. So I believe that Stuart Kahan was the first person appointed to this particular board, so he will be the first chairperson. After that, it'll probably be Sandy Hirsch because she was second. It also, as do many bylaws of boards of directors, provide for how the chair will be replaced under circumstances in which he or she is temporarily unavailable or unable to serve. So that's something that I think was not in the last draft that we presented to you. It is now. And again, you know, without getting into all the nitty-gritty details, we went over some of the suggestions that the board made. I think it was on December 1st, and I think the document's a little bit more, I just think it reads better, and the procedures are a little bit better to to understand a little bit more definite. So I'll be happy to answer any more specific questions, but I think I've given a lot of the highlights anyway.
I think that, number one, thank the board, and I think this is a living document. We're here to accept them like we would accept the planning or the zoning board, and it is so I think that as you get used to each other, and and maybe even if you just do your meetings, you'll find new ways to be creative, and people can always give you suggestions on how you might improve it. So,
No, absolutely.
Right.
One of the other things that I think is important is that it does, and I think, Eric, you had suggested this last time, it requires that complaints that are submitted be resolved in the mind of the board, at least within 45 days of the time that they first received the complaint. So therefore, rather than having, I think we had within a reasonable period of time language, we've now put a definite deadline to it. And I agree with you. I think that, as the board continues to work, they'll look at these procedures and maybe realize that they forgot to put something in that they really need to have going forward, and they'll do that.
right.
We also slightly amended the ethics complaint, which is part of the package, to take into account some of the suggestions that had been made at the last meeting. We de-emphasized a bit the requirement that the person making the complaint actually cite the specific section of the ethics code that the person alleges was violated, although, as you'll see on the form, they're strongly encouraged to specify it if they're able to. And the request for advisory opinion, I don't think is that much different, that form, from what was originally presented. So anyway, there it is.
Any questions?
Great job.
I think you guys did a great job. I think I want you to thank the team for us, and
I will.
It was a long process, but but that's okay. I mean, in this
That's-
particular case,
Right.
started from nothing.
It
Very
was
little.
it was a long process because people were very interested in doing the right thing. Sometimes, I'm not talking about this particular legislature, but other legislatures that we're all familiar with sometimes take a lot of time to do things, not because they're working hard, but because they're fighting with each other. This particular board of ethics was working very hard to try to meet the mandate that you set forth about a year ago. And so we do thank you for your patience, because I know that you had originally wanted this process to be done probably 6 or 7 months ago, and we appreciate your indulgence.
very good. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Please thank the rest of the
I will, thank you.
board.
We'll move on to announcements.
All right. As 2015 comes to a close, so does this administration. We have accomplished so much in the 4 years I've served as town supervisor, and our great progress would not be possible without the hard work of each one of our employees, as well as the input and support from the residents of the town of Ossining. During the past 4 years, we passed local laws we've been working on for almost a year. We completed infrastructure projects that provided our residents with better drinking water, paved roads, and reestablished a road that barely had any road left. As a matter of fact, Mr. Wilshire wouldn't even go down it. We have reduced flooding and removed a sewer lift station, resulting in not only better operating conditions, but a visually better community. I have recounted other accomplishments to you in my opening statements and supervisors' updates, so I do not have to do that again. This is the time to thank everyone for the hard work and dedication of the departments who understand their responsibility to the stakeholders, you, and not personal agendas or entitlements. The team that has developed has allowed us to work together on projects, produce fair union contracts, keeping the municipality going, as well as saving taxpayer money. All the departments have been asked to do more with less, and except for few, everyone tightened their belts, got to work without comment or complaint. our IMA partners, especially the people we interface with every day, have proven to be a tremendous asset to the town of Ossining. Each has shared their expertise with us and we have all grown with knowledge and experience. Our contract partners came to the table prepared to give the town the best possible price while providing excellent services. Our contract partners cover a wide range of services, from sanitation to planning to labor lawyers. Each has been available to us when needed, and again, their expertise has been priceless to us with the mission of achieving our goals. This administration has been hard at work every day, leading by example and accomplishing so much. The role of the CEO, CFO requires the supervisor to be responsible for all finances, for working with all department heads on goals and objectives, as well as everyday workflow. Being available to discuss any issues or opportunities with the departments can take advantage, so that the departments can take advantage, allows the team to function better. Staying on top of the budget is essential throughout the year, as is planning for the future. The budget officer's job is so much more than that. Serving as the HR for the town employees, administrating health benefits, overseeing attendance, workman's compensation, liability insurance, organizing the town board meetings and work sessions, administrating the pilot agreements, working with our retirees, interfacing with our residents, and of course, developing and regularly making adjustments to the town budget, to name a very, very few of the things. Thanks cannot begin to express how I feel about these folks and their accomplishments. I have had the privilege to work alongside the departments, and I have learned so much from each member of the team. Together, we have made changes benefiting the residents, not just through controlling expenditures, but also employees updating the different job functions, so we can have them do more. We can do more with them on a day-to-day basis. It is essential that each person takes the time to understand and learn the job in which they've been elected or appointed. Knowledge is power, and our residents and commercial property owners expect that each has done their homework on all issues, including asking appropriate questions and, of course, not jumping to conclusion before any facts or repercussions can be explained. This evening, we will have a much celebrated Jeff Harder Day in the town of Ossining. Jeff is retiring after giving 24 years to this community as a town board member, and many of those years as deputy supervisor, and has been a dedicated member of the Recreation Advisory Board as the town liaison. We do not intentionally make it on the December 5th solstice, which is the shortest day of the year, but 9 hours and 15 minutes of sunlight today, even though it was cloudy. We don't care, because together the sun is always shining with us. It is also Northern Wilshire's birthday celebration, which was on Sunday. We are happy that he is part of our team, and we ask you to join us in celebrating with him. I want to take a special moment to thank everyone that's been part of this last 4 years. It was an adventure, to say the least. So, Madam Clerk.
Do we have any other announcements? We'll move on to public comments on agenda items. Is there anyone to address any of the agenda items?
Wendy Masterman, 10 Morningside Court, Ossining. Kenneth Camber and Donna Sherritt have asked that I, as chairman of the Concerned Citizens of Ossining, read the following on their behalf, as they are not here in person. Regarding the town board's vote to amend the town zoning code to allow assisted living as a usage in the general business district. This is a Type 1 action under New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Regulations 617.4 because the adoption of changes in the allowable uses within the zoning district affect 25 or more acres, and this change has been requested by an applicant. This is also a Type 1 action by the Town of Ossining Environmental Quality Review, Code 85.6A.10, because the proposed action will take place within a freshwater wetland and within the setbacks as prescribed in the town's freshwater wetlands protection law. Therefore, a SECRA negative declaration is required prior to the town board adopting this change in usage. The Planning Board, as lead agency for the SECRA review, has approved a SECRA negative declaration memo prepared by Frederick P. Clark Associates Incorporated. This SECRA memo is inaccurate and should be corrected before the town board adopts the zoning usage change. We do not oppose the addition of assisted living as a usage in the general business district. We adamantly oppose any decisions to include votes based on inaccurate documents. Climate change is the environment's response to the past and continued degradation and destruction of its natural resources. It is our understanding that this degradation and destruction will absolutely have a significant adverse impact on future generations. It has been made abundantly clear that this understanding is either not shared or is ignored by others to include those in decision-making positions and those who guide the decision-makers. The word significance is subjective. Even when considering the possibility of adverse impacts from an action which proposes to use herbicides in a wetland and watercourse, create slopes of compacted imported fill directed toward a wetland and watercourse, destruction of all required wetland and watercourse buffers, and demolition of an old structure in the vicinity of a wetland and watercourse without a risk mitigation plan as examples. Note, the demolition of this old structure with the possibility of asbestos, lead, septic, and oil tank contaminants is also in the immediate vicinity of a public shopping center. Our understanding of the word significance differs greatly from that of the town's planning board consultant. Destruction or degradation of the ephemeral wetland and watercourse on our property would adversely impact the wildlife which depends on them. Wildlife which includes hawks, owls, bats, fox, songbirds, and other mammals, amphibians, and avian species. Ephemeral wetlands in particular are crucial to wildlife during the spring breeding season. It is only from a human perspective that the possibility of adverse impacts could be subjective. Although we would never agree with the finding that this action as proposed will have little or no possibility of significant adverse environmental impacts, we regretfully accept that others do not share our understanding of this. We do, however, adamantly oppose that inaccurate documents and the review of proposed projects based on knowingly inaccurate and incomplete information be condoned by the town board. We ask our town board to require that the SECRA negative declaration memo be made accurate and complete prior to voting on this zoning change. And they thank you. That's Kenneth Camber and Donna Sherritt of 84 Morningside Drive in Ossining. And we have a 4-page document of detailed information that has either been inaccurate or omitted from the negative declaration. And that, I believe, has been sent to the town board. And anyone who would like a copy of it, I have one here.
Thank you for your comment.
May I-
Anybody else have a comment on an agenda item? Madam Clerk.
Not seeing anyone, we will move on to board resolutions. Resolve the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the December 8th, 2015 minutes of the regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolve the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the December 15th, 2015 minutes of the special meeting as presented. Do you have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated December 22nd, 2015, in the amount of $629,867.25. Do I have a motion?
So
So moved. Second? Third?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas the town of Ossining has charged the Board of Ethics with establishing procedures for expanding the town code of ethics and establishing a system for the process of providing ethics opinions. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby accepts the policies, rules, and procedures adopted by the Board of Ethics for the town of Ossining. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby authorizes a budget amendment for capital project 2013-2185 entitled Lakeville Sewer Lift Station Remediation from $167,534.09 to $175,658.09. The proposed budget increase of $8,124 will be funded by a transfer from fund balance from the Consolidated Sewer District. Increase 037-8120, 2185, $8,124 Lakeville Sewer Lift Station Remediation Expense. Increase 037-0037, 5031, 0188, $8,124 Lakeville Sewer Lift Station Remediation Revenue. Increase 045-9901, 0906, $8,124 Consolidated Sewer Transfer to Capital Expense, and increase 045.4795, $8,124 for Consolidated Sewer Fund Balance Revenue. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I just want to point out that that was the road at the Lakeville Sewer had to be repaved after we called in the vendor that did the whole project, and because the whole land had sunk, so they did all their corrections, and then we repaved, and that's the $8,000.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas proceedings pursuant to Article 7 of the Real Property Tax Law of the State of New York were instituted by T&R Realty LLC against the town of Ossining to review the tax assessments made on petitioner's property located at 95 Croton Avenue, town of Ossining, and designated on the tax assessment map of the town of Ossining as section 89.16-1-52 for tax assessment years 2012 through 2015, which proceedings are now pending in the Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of Westchester, under index numbers 668-42, 12, 656, 40, 13, 672, 80, 14, and 673, 37, 15. And whereas the above petitioner has agreed to a compromise and settlement of such proceedings subject to the approval of the town board, correcting and reducing assessed valuation of its real property and improvements as follows: 95 Croton Avenue, Ossining, New York, SBL 89.16-1-52. Excuse me. Whereas any and all refunds necessitated by said settlement will be made without interest, and whereas the town board, upon the recommendation of the assessor, concurred by the town attorney, finds the proposed settlement appropriate and in the best interest of the town of Ossining. Now therefore be it resolved that the settlement of the proceedings on the terms set forth herein is hereby accepted and approved, subject to the approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County, wherein such proceedings are pending, and is further resolved that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to procure and execute any documents necessary to effectuate such settlement. And is further resolved, subject to the approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County, that the assessor is authorized and directed to make the changes and corrections to the individual unit assessment on the tax assessment roll of the town of Ossining, which will be ordered pursuant to the consent judgment to be entered in accordance with the terms of this settlement. And the receiver of taxes is authorized and directed to process and pay the refund of town of Ossining taxes estimated to be $899.23, which will be ordered pursuant to consent judgment. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas proceedings pursuant to Article 7 of the Real Property Tax Law of the State of New York were instituted by STP Briarcliff LLC against the Town of Ossining to review the tax assessments made on petitioner's property located at 325 South Highland Avenue, Town of Ossining, and designated on the tax assessment map of the Town of Ossining as Section 97.19-2-1 for tax assessment years 2011 through 2015, which proceedings are now pending in the Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of Westchester, under index numbers 156-9211, 669-2512, 661-5313, 669-6614, and 674-2715, and whereas the above petitioner has agreed to a compromise and settlement of such proceedings subject to the approval of the town board, correcting and reducing the assessed valuation of its real property and improvements as follows. Whereas any and all refunds necessitated by said settlement will be made without interest, and whereas the town board, upon the recommendation of the assessor, concurred by the town attorney, finds the proposed settlement appropriate and in the best interest of the town of Ossining. Now therefore it is resolved that settlement of the proceedings on the terms set forth herein is hereby accepted and approved, subject to the approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County, wherein such proceedings are pending, and is further resolved that the town attorney is hereby authorized and directed to procure and execute any documents necessary to effectuate such settlement, and is further resolved, subject to the approval of the Supreme Court, Westchester County, that the assessor is authorized and directed to make the changes and corrections to the individual unit assessment on the tax assessment roll of the town of Ossining, which will be ordered pursuant to the consent judgment to be entered in accordance with the terms of this settlement, and the receiver of taxes is authorized and directed to process and pay the refund of town of Ossining taxes estimated to be $1,264.93, which will be ordered pursuant to said consent judgment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This is a resolution adopting local law number 12. Whereas the town board is considering the adoption of a local law for the purpose of adding assisted living facilities as a permitted principal use in the general business zoning district, and whereas the proposed action also includes the issuance of site plan, wetlands permit, and tree removal permit approvals by the planning board to the proposed Artist Senior Living LLC assisted living facility, and whereas in accordance with the requirements of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, the planning board declared its intent to be the lead agency with respect to the proposed action, and thereafter became the lead agency, and whereas on December 16, 2015, after taking a hard look at the full environmental assessment form and all of the associated materials prepared in connection with the proposed action, the planning board as lead agency adopted a negative declaration regarding the proposed action for the reasons stated therein, and whereas the town board held a public hearing regarding the subject local law on July 22, 2014, during which all persons interested were given an opportunity to be heard, and whereas in accordance with Section 200-52 of the town zoning law, the town board referred the subject local law to the town planning board, and via a memorandum dated June 25, 2014, received comments and a positive recommendation as response, and which the town board has given due consideration to the planning board's comments and recommendations, and whereas in accordance with Section 239-1 and M of the New York State General Municipal Law, the town board referred to the subject local law to the Westchester County Department of Planning and received a response from the Westchester County Department of Planning by letter dated June 16, 2014. And whereas said letter from the Westchester County Planning Department of Planning states in part, we have reviewed the proposed zoning petition and find the zoning text amendment to be a matter for local determination in accordance with the town's planning and zoning policies. And whereas town board has given due consideration to the comments of the Westchester County Department of Planning, now therefore be it resolved as follows. 1. The town board hereby adopts and incorporates the recitations and statements set forth above as if fully set forth and resolved herein. 2. The town board hereby adopts local law number 12, 2015, except as specifically modified by the amendments contained therein. the Town of Austining zoning law as originally adopted, amended from time to time thereafter, is to remain in full force and effect. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Thank you, Madam Supervisor. I just wanted to acknowledge the comments that were raised, let's see, during the public comment on agenda items. Appreciate the public input and their concerns raised regarding the environment. I just wanted to say that I'm very sensitive to the environmental issues. I've had conversations with the town's expert, environmental consultant, David Stolman, and have had some lengthy conversations with other individuals, and I'm fully confident, especially given the presentation today, that appears to show no opposition to the zoning change itself, that this zoning change is not really likely to have any environmental impact, but it's the specific environmental issues with respect to wetlands and other items that will be and have been addressed by the planning board as the appropriate entity to address that in connection with site plan approval. So I just wanted to say that I'm very sensitive to the environmental issues, but I believe that those issues are being addressed and have been addressed by the planning board. So thank you very much for your input.
Yeah, I just would like to comment as well on a couple of aspects. First of all, as noted in this resolution, the planning board was the lead agency
Continues.
and continues to be the lead agency, at least to this point, and will continue to be the lead agency as well. And that the adoption of the negative declaration was within their purview. It was done in conjunction with reports that were received by various consultants, including an environmental and a wetlands consultant, which was brought in specifically by the town for that purpose. The other issue, which I'd like to just address as well, is the fact that this was a matter brought up before the planning board, is that there are new laws that are in effect which do change wetlands review and steep slopes and other issues regarding subdivision of land, etc. And the question was raised as to what impact, if any, that would have on this matter, particularly the negative declaration that was adopted. In fact, during the site plan review process, which will be ongoing, those laws are in effect. Yes, the new laws which were adopted by the town do not change the seeker regulations that are adopted by the town. In other words, the seeker review and the negative declaration that was adopted are not impacted at all by the new laws themselves. But the new laws will be in effect and will govern the balance of the process, which will be before the planning board, and many of the issues which are discussed will continue to be before the planning board as far as environmental protection as well.
Madam Clerk.
It's a roll call vote. Councilman Harder?
Yes.
Councilman Wilshire? Councilman Blaha?
Aye.
And Supervisor Donnelly?
Aye.
Thank you. We have correspondence to be received and filed. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austining hereby accepts the following meeting minutes. Planning board meeting minutes dated October 21st, 2015. Planning board meeting minutes dated November 18th, 2015. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have no monthly reports. We'll move into visitor recognition. Is there anyone who would like to address the board?
Hi, Dana Levenberg, 18 Hamilton Place in Ossining. I just wanted to say thank you to all of the current board members for all of the hours and hours of time that you have devoted to our community. And Jeff, many, many, many years. Northern, not quite as many years, and you're staying for a few more. Eric and Sue, just to let you know that all of your hard work has been truly appreciated. I know, personally, by me, I just wanted to thank our outgoing supervisor for all of the help and guidance that she's provided to me as I have the opportunity to move into that chair, and also the how seriously you've taken your fiduciary responsibility to the town and the residents of the town, the unincorporated as well as the town general budget. And you've really looked at every item and looked under every looked under every stone for opportunities to save money for our taxpayers, left no stone unturned, and kept us under the tax cap with our tax levy. Improvements, as you mentioned tonight, to our infrastructure have taken place under your guidance and your leadership. You have indeed improved our parks, improved our local environmental laws, and hopefully that will lay a great foundation for us moving forward to make further improvements. You've brought us into community choice aggregation to offer more options to our residents for ways that they can save and be more environmentally minded in terms of how they purchase their energy. Solarize Ossining, intermunicipal agreements with the village that have been negotiated in good faith to achieve not only savings but efficiencies and improvements, and also to work collaboratively with Village of Briarcliff, really working on lots of different issues that have come up under your leadership. And so I just wanted to say thank you. I think you've done a fantastic job. I personally appreciate all that you've done for the residents as well as for myself. So thank you, and look forward to all of our next chapters.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board? Okay.
So I'm not sure if this is visitor recognition, but I'll put on a different hat. Oh, hi. So I have had the pleasure of working with Jeff since my first day here, since my appointment, and it has been a distinct and sincere pleasure to learn so much from you about not only the way our community works, but also how to be an honest and fair public servant. It's really been an honor, and I know that the rest of the town employees and the board share my love for you, and thanks for all that you've done for us. So the supervisor mentioned it earlier, today is actually Jeff Harder Day in the town of Ossining, and it's not just in 2015, it's every December 22nd going forward will be Jeff Harder Day in the town. And the town employees put together a little something for you that I'd like to present to you now, if that's okay. So we have a plaque with your face on it, and we had all of our town employees sign it, and it says, "Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not." And that's a quote from the Lorax, from a Dr. Seuss book. In grateful recognition of 24 years of honorable service to the town board of the town of Ossining, December 22nd shall henceforth be known as Jeffrey Harder Day throughout the town of Ossining. It has been a pleasure and an honor to serve alongside you, and your dedication and enthusiasm will be remembered by all of us.
Thank you.
Sorry. I didn't mean to knock them over. I didn't mean to chop off your legs.
Very nice.
I've become a man of few words, and I think it's probably a good idea that it's time to move on and let the young ones do their thing. So I'm very proud of this. I thank all of the members, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay. And then also, because it is their last meeting, we do have a certificate for Eric Blaha and for our lovely supervisor, Sue Donnelly, thanking them for their years of service. Suzanne Donnelly, in grateful recognition of her brave, selfless, and enthusiastic leadership in service to Town of Ossining residents, and with special thanks for serving 2 terms as town supervisor. And for Eric P. Blaha, in grateful recognition of his positive, thoughtful, and gracious service to Town of Ossining residents, and with special thanks for serving 4 years as town councilman. Thank you both.
Are you done?
Okay.
I just, to each of you, you have certainly served well. That I must tell you, because those days when we supposed to be off and we're working, we've had a few of those, and one coming up next week. And I don't want to hear about it. But those fifth Tuesdays and things. But what I really want to say is that I've enjoyed working with all of you. And Jeff, I don't think there's much I can ask about parks that you don't know, because those parks you seem to be very up to date on. And Eric, it's been a pleasure, and I've met your family, and it's just nice working with you guys. I'm gonna miss you, but I was supposed to have been here for 4 years. That was when I come. That was what Pearl Smith told me.
Wow.
Oh, you got that line too, huh?
Yes, I got the same one, and I'm still here. But I enjoy it. Well, sometimes, but I enjoy you guys all the time.
Thank you, Norman.
So thank you.
Well, thank you, Dana Levenberg, our supervisor-elect, for your kind words. And Jeff, amazing. What an inspiration. Congratulations on Jeff Harder and Northern, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I do have a couple of words. This is my last my last hurrah. At least on the town board, this is my last meeting, at least a formal legislative meeting. There's 9 more days of work to do, so we'll see how much we can get done in 9 days, Madam Supervisor. Well, so having been elected over 4 years ago, I guess I felt like that might have been my 15 minutes of fame. We're all entitled, I guess, on this earth to a little bit of fame. But soon after being elected to this office, we quickly rolled up our sleeves, and the list that Madam Supervisor-elect mentioned, and the list that was posted on the website, and I don't know, we've accomplished so much in such a short period of time, and I'm so proud of that, and the honor, the privilege to serve on this board. As a snapshot in my lifetime, this is a keeper. In this day and age, we throw away a lot of different photos, but this is the one that I'm really proud of and really keeping and holding tight to my heart. So, along the way, there have been a lot of challenges. There've been a lot of accomplishments, but I've learned a lot while I've served in this office. And municipal government is like something I hadn't experienced before, and it really, really, really it depends on people, and it depends on those who have vision and expertise and accountability, and who are willing to roll up their sleeves along with you, right next to you, and get their hands dirty, and people who give of themselves selflessly for the benefit of all. And for those people who've been alongside, I'm grateful. We've stood on the shoulders of some very important people who've come before us on this board, different administrations, in particular Catherine Borsch's administration that preceded this board's. And I'm grateful for the hard work that they did. On this board, though, we did tremendous work. Again, Jeff Northern, Madam Supervisor, Kim Jeffrey, and even Peter Tripodi, who left after my first 2 years here. and was replaced by council member Kim Jeffrey. It's an amazing team, and I wanted to thank the whole team, not just the board, but the people who were with us day in and day out, those who were with us at this meeting on a weekly basis. Well, first, Madam Supervisor, your focus and determination. You're an extremely effective leader, and I've learned a great deal from you. I don't know what else to say other than you're an extremely effective leader. I don't know what more I could say that would matter, so I'll leave it at that. But there are so many talented colleagues. Maddie Yusashaz, thank you very much. Phenomenal. Wayne Spector, town councilman, town attorney. Marianne Roberts, our town clerk. Tom Warren, our town controller. And their staffs. Let's see, so I also want to thank my family, who've been very patient these 4 years. And I really am grateful for my wife and my children who have been there along my side. But then finally, I wanted to, well, not finally yet, sorry. I want to wish the new board all the best. I'm very confident that you'll step right in and hit the ground running. You've been to the last several meetings, and you've come up to speed. You've asked a lot of questions, and I hope I've made some small contribution to your understanding and help you make the transition coming in. But now, finally, to the residents. It's an amazing community. This is the town of Ossining is phenomenal, and there are so many people behind the scenes that help. Committees, volunteer work, people who come and show up to meetings and give us their heartfelt gripes about what's going wrong and sometimes praise as to what's going right. Like I said before, this is a community of people, and that's what makes Ossining so special, is because our people are really wonderful. So to the new board, there's plenty of hard work for you to do, and I'm very pleased to hand over this seat to, I don't know who's going to sit in this seat, but I wish you the best of luck and health and happiness and prosperity in 2016 to the entire town. Thank you very much.
And I just want to say that it has been a distinct honor to first serve in the village of Ossining and in the town of Ossining as this town supervisor. I think our role has been to make things better. I think we have represented the unincorporated area very well. That is our local we're the local government for the unincorporated area. And I think we did the town general, the umbrella government for the town general. We did a lot. We accomplished a lot. And there's no one person that got this done. And are we always perfect? No. But we all work for the majority. It's always very important that you work for the majority of the residents and commercial property owners in the town. I'm not going to repeat everything that Councilman Braha said, but it has been a very interesting 4 years, and I think we leave in a very positive note. And I want to thank all of the people that don't normally come out and talk to us, and for the phone calls and stuff. It's very appreciated. And I know that we'll all be on January 1st, 2016, and I almost said 15 because my notorious thing was always screwing up dates. But January 1st, 2016, the inauguration for the new board and for the new police chief, because remember the town and the unincorporated area and the village of Ossining share a police department. Kevin Sylvester will become the new chief of police. We'll be at the library this year. So the inauguration and the installation of the new police chief will be at the library at 12 o'clock noon on January 1st. And that's a Friday, so that Monday you can go out to the office and see all the new people that will be there. Maddie will still be there. That's good. And so we're very, very happy with what we could get done. And it's comforting to know that things will go on projects will continue, boards will continue, and we think that together, with the residents and everybody working together, you can still continue to accomplish so much, because really what we did was the tip of the iceberg. So thank you all, and it's been a very nice time. Thank you.
Madam Supervisor, might I make a few comments?
Sure.
Councilman Harder, you and I have been working together for the last 24 years, and it's been a pleasure. Jeff, I have enjoyed every moment working with you, and you are every bit the gentleman and every bit the professional, and you have served this community very well. And as a resident, not only as the town clerk, but I want to thank you very much for your, and also the support of your family, because you know as well as I do, you can't do it without them. So God bless you all. Eric, we've only had a short time, but it has been a pleasure. And I wish you and your family the best. And you're right, your family is there to hold you up when things are not too good. And,
Yep.
and Madam
Thank you, Marion.
Supervisor, we have worked together in the town and in the village, and it has been a wonderful run, and I wish you all the best. I'm very proud to be able to say that I consider you as a friend, not only as a coworker, but as a friend. And I wish you and your family the best, and I know whatever you move on to, you will succeed greatly, because you're a great lady.
Thank you very much. So, with that, we will call it an evening and call it a board, and look forward to great and fabulous things from our new council people that are right here, Karen DeToro, Liz Feldman, and Supervisor-elect Levenberg. So thank you all, and have a wonderful week. Merry Christmas. And let me tell you, just like at Hanukkah, when we wished everyone a happy Hanukkah, we wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a good Kwanzaa, because together we have got to get things under control and have some peace in this world. So have a wonderful holiday week, and we'll see you around,
Well, I need
like
a
they used to
motion.
say.
Motion to
I need a
adjourn?
motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Good night.